Today it's the NASCAR Busch Series. We'll show you how the field will roll off after Martin Truex has gone to the rear. Not exactly how they qualified, because the inside column moves up. That moves Bobby Hamilton Jr. up to the front row alongside Johnny Benson. So this is the way they will come to the flag.
And as we mentioned also in the pre-race show, Greg Biffle in the 60 car, he qualified 16th. He will move back there with Martin Truex Jr. along with David Keith, also wrecked in happy hour practice, and Derek Cope had an engine change as well.
We're on a hurry-up start because of bands of heavy showers heading this way. So here's our Bombardier ATV weather.
There you see the air temperature is 61 degrees. It looks like the weather's going to be pretty consistent. And remember, we talked in the beginning also, this is a concrete racetrack. So track temperature, it's not as sensitive to temperature changes as it would be if we were on asphalt.
This track is 1.3 miles. So to complete 300 miles, we'll take 225 laps, 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed, and they'll pit every 70 to 80.
And that will be for fuel. And at 225 laps, these guys would like to be able to do this race on 2 stops, but a big concern, they have 3 sets of tires they can change under caution per NASCAR rule. The left side tires, especially the left front, seems to be wearing as much as any tire on the car, so there was some concern if 3 sets was enough.
Yeah, Jeff, this morning we talked to some drivers with rear tire trouble, some drivers who were wearing that left front right to the cord in practice.
Mike, you're exactly right. That's the biggest concern up and down pit road here today, that all the main guys that I can talk to said, hey, watch the left side tires. We've got to be real careful that we don't get ourselves into trouble by trying to go too long on his first stop, especially because left sides have only been looking good right around 35 laps before guys start really getting concerned.
Mike, another guy who 1 year ago started this race, his first ever Busch Series start, and that's David Stremme. He told me they really feel like the team continues to make leaps and bounds. They didn't do a lot of testing this year as we get ready to go 1 to go here at Nashville. They really feel like, though, they are starting to come into their own. He says 1 year anniversary, he'd love to break through and get a win here. Wholesale changes on that race car. Halfway through the final practice, the car really came to life.
Pace car is in. And under threatening skies and a cool spring day just outside Nashville, Tennessee, green flag and we're racing.
Johnny Benson in the 1 car, he would like to get to the inside groove there in front of Johnny Sauter in 27. I don't believe he's going to be able to win the drag race. And there you're going to see, he probably won't get as much grip in that second groove. Sauter will probably win the race off turn 2.
3 wide as they came through 1 and 2 back in midfield. Drivers scramble for position, and the driver who made it 3 wide was Truex. Wow.
He knows he wants to make up as much ground as he can here in an early lap, because the more he has to fight with those cars back there, Mike, the leaders are just going to get further and further away.
He and Ron Hornaday both working the outside early. Drivers this morning said there's no outside groove here, no outside groove. As one car from the back slips up, and then we'll find place in line. But there is right away. Everybody is looking for the outside, and they're making it work. They're passing.
And we did have an ARCA race here last night, which probably helped rubber in that second groove even a little bit more.
Casey Kane battling Stacy Compton in the 59. That's for 5th place. Right with him, Mike Bliss in the 20, and Kyle Busch, last year's ARCA winner here, in the 5.
Heard Casey Kane in his interview with Matt Yoakum talked about a lot of changes on that race car this morning. When you make that many changes to a car, as we see still Stacy Compton and Mike Bliss side by side, you know, that driver has to go out there with confidence that they've made the right moves with this race car to start this race.
And they were 3 wide right behind them, squeezing David Rudiman through the middle back in about 11th place. So there is no single filing here. On board Kenny Wallace. David Rudiman just ahead. Wallace in 16th place. Tim Fedowa just ahead of Rudiman in the NBS 24/7 chip.
You know, that shot right there, and I think this was a lot of complaint that the cars had last night, is they're wanting to be just a little bit loose when you pick up the throttle, and that's what got Martin Truex Jr. His car just kept getting looser and looser and finally came around with it.
David Stremme ahead of Jason Lepler. 9th place. 10th place or something. 10th place.
Saw them running right there with Robbie Gordon in the 55 car. Robbie started this season out. Didn't really plan on running all the races. Didn't plan on coming here, but he's found himself 5th in the points. The next Cup season he's having, hey, this gives him confidence that he's still in this points battle in this Busch series. See right in front of Robbie Gordon right there, the blue and green car. That's David Green, the 37 car, our points leader. Seems to always run good here. His 2 finishes last year, 1st and 2nd, and he knows you have to use a lot of patience at this racetrack.
Johnson City driver Brad Teague into the garage after 2 laps where he'll join David Keith. Kyle Busch making a run on Stacy Compton. This will be for 6th place. Mark Truex moving up underneath J.J. Yaley up to 32nd after starting 39th.
And I know those guys are very disappointed to lose that race car, especially after going out and sitting on the pole. And they were so fast in happy hour. And I think, as we talked in opening, their biggest fear was starting at the back of the pack and working their way up through traffic, as he's having to do right now, as he's going to make it 3 wide midway through the backstretch. But I think when you've got a caliber like Dale Earnhardt Incorporated and Chance 3 Motorsports, I mean, you know they've got just as good a race car as a backup as they did for primary.
Coming to the front, Casey Kane as he battles Johnny Sauters, number 27. 3rd place. Casey Kane is a young man in a hurry.
Yes, he is.
Greg Biffle also started at the back, and he's moved around. The 43 of Aaron Veit. They saw something in the engine they did not like, and after conversation, Jack Roush flew in to have a look as they disassembled it this morning, and we're glad they did. They found something that needed attention. Jeff Hammond.
Mike, what happened was the same thing that occurred in Rockingham occurred here at Nashville, which was an epoxy inside the Oberg or the Mecca filter, which is a return line, which tells a lot of times engine builders if there is a problem. The engine builder decided, yes, there was a problem. They extracted the engine, took the oil pan off, and found the culprit inside of it, which led them to believe that the problem they had at Rockingham, which was a broken rod, was created by this part floating around inside the oil pan, not a connecting rod failure. So Jack Roush was here today when that occurred. He was very happy they found the problem, along with Greg Biffle, because Biffle said, I can't win a championship if I can't finish a race.
Yeah, the motor was running fine up to the point they put it in the garage area, but they had that filter they checked, and they found that epoxy in there that knew that was a bad sign.
And it was a great heads-up call, because otherwise Biffle would likely not last the day. For Bobby Hamilton Jr., it's the 3rd race he's led this year, and he's now led in 6 Nashville appearances. All 6 races he has led.
Yeah, I mean, in 11 laps, he's already pulled out to a second-half lead over Johnny Benson. And all throughout the weekend here, in practice before qualified 3rd, and in happy hour, he has been in the top 3. So, I mean, they've been fast since they unloaded yesterday morning.
Our race leader, and Martin only lacks about 1.2, 1.3 seconds of Hamlin catching him.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy coming in here 2nd in points, his team actually leading the owner points with Dale Earnhardt Jr. running that number at Daytona when he won the season opener. Again, I think he has a decent race car. It's just Bobby Hamilton Jr. is so good versus all of the competition. But Matt Yoakum, those guys could be in trouble. Martin Truex are going a lap down here early.
Trying to keep little Martin pumped up. Kevin Bono-Mannion on the radio telling him, we will fix your tight race car on our first stop. If we go a lap down, we'll try to keep the leader in close proximity so we can be the lucky dog. Already planning ahead, managing this race for young Truex.
Well, that's what you have to do. As the race unfolds, you have to adjust your strategy And of course, what Kevin Mannion's banking on there, if we do indeed go a lap down, and there you see it, it's very close, that maybe we can get the free pass with the party.
Two good battles here. The 22 of Jason Keller and the 59 of Stacy Compton, and right behind them, David Stremme and David Green are coming right into that picture. This is a race for fifth.
I've been watching that 30 car, David Stremme, and he may very well have one of the better race cars as well. Started back in 14th position. He's already worked his way up to 7th. There you see he's just going to drive by Jason Keller. Looked like Jason Keller in the 22 got in there, and the car washed up with him. David Stremme took advantage of it. And there you see Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, our pole sitter, versus Bobby Hamilton in the 25 here, lap 35. He goes 1 lap down.
Now it's going to be a long way before Hamilton laps the next car. So Truex will hope to stay in that position in case a caution comes out.
And Mike, I know this is a different race car, but Matt Yoakum said that what Martin Truex Jr. is complaining about is tight. The car's not turning. Remember why he crashed his primary car? It was loose. Possibly they adjusted for that, maybe over-adjusted for what that other car was doing.
Michael Waltrip, Ron Hornaday. Michael's kind of struggled in qualifying the last few races of this Busch Series, and had really hoped to get his program back on track today as he and Hornaday battle for 12th.
Yeah, Michael started back in 22nd position. Now he's up there to 12th. You know, we talked about in the beginning of the show what this weekend could do for some of these Nextel Cup drivers. When you look at drivers like Michael Waltrip in the 99, this new tire package that they seem to be struggling with on the Cup side, if they find something here, it very well could transfer to their Cup team.
Ron Hornaday, though, right behind Michael. His AC Delco Chevy has been moving up rapidly in the opening stages of this race, Matt.
The Blue Deuce has climbed all the way to 13th. He says the car has a slight vibration and is tight, but this is another team that's trying to gain a huge boost of momentum as we start to hit the races to go back to back to back. They want to go into the off weekend next week with a good run, still searching for their season's first top 5 finish.
Yeah, Matt, this team came over here and tested a few weeks ago, thought they hit on some things geometry, front-end geometry-wise. They complimented the new tire, but when they got back here, Ron did not like the way the car was driving. They had to go back to their old package.
You saw this battle for second as it unfolded. The 36 went up and almost slapped the wall in turn 2. The Pennsylvania driver Travis Geisler, he's gathered it back in. Larry, what I'm seeing here, I don't like. I'm seeing lap cars on the bottom of the track and some lap cars running way up high, and the leaders having trouble threading their way between lap cars on the bottom and lap cars up top.
They're not predictable.
Right.
And Jeff Hammond was telling me he attended the drivers' meeting, and they agreed at the drivers' meeting the lap cars would move to the high side, but we're not seeing the consistency of that.
And I think one reason is some of these cars are finding when they go to the high side, they get up in the loose stuff and all but lose control. So
No
they go
grip
back down.
whatsoever.
They go back down to the bottom where it's safe. Matt?
Mike, you're exactly right. About 10 laps ago, Kyle Busch told his crew chief Lance McGrew, he says there is a ton of loose rubber on the racetrack. Anytime anyone steps out of the groove, you're going to be in trouble.
4th place, Kyle Busch. Right there behind Bobby Hamilton Jr., Casey Kane, and Johnny Benson. Oh, Jay Keller, something's happened with that car.
That's about the 2nd or 3rd time we have seen that happen, and he just loses a lot of ground, but he's definitely in trouble as he heads down the backstretch. That car, I mean, look how fast. Ron Hornaday in the 2 caught him so fast going in the 3, he almost ran over him.
Wonder, Larry, if he got up trying to pass a car, got up in the loose stuff. And it took him a half a lap or so to get his tires cleaned off. Now
you see him, he's wiggling.
Yeah,
when you pick that stuff up, it makes you feel like you've actually got a flat tire.
Greg Biffle out of the race with engine trouble. Gus Wasson has gone to the garage. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still leads, but 2 contenders have been to the pits. David Stremme and Martin Truex Jr., the pole sitter, who had to start his backup car in the rear of the field.
Yeah, and I think as we ride with Martin Truex Jr. right here in the 8 car, I think what happened with them, that car was just getting tighter and tighter. He had already been lapped. So why not come to pit road, Matt Yoakum, and go ahead and get those fresh tires, but they don't need a caution to come out and burn them.
Larry Mack, a number of adjustments, track bar wedge and air pressure to try to free up Martin Truex's race car. We've seen it a number of times this year. In fact, Moody Barker told me this morning he does not want to pit any sooner than he absolutely has. He doesn't really want a short pit like we've seen this year because so many guys have been bitten by it with a caution right after.
Truex is now 2 laps down. Randy McDonald's in the pits, and Andy Ponstein returns to the race after some time in the garage. Show you what happened to David Stremme. After he lost that tire, he nearly lost the whole car.
There you see the right front down, and the big concern was trying to get the pit road, still not lose a lot of time here under green, and that right front not come apart and tear that right front fender out. And he was running in the top 10. Now he's back in 29th position, 2 laps down as well.
Casey Kane has eaten into Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s lead by a second. It now stands at 4 seconds. Johnny Benson 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Stacy Compton 5th.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Casey Kane. He is definitely every single lap. As there you see how the interval has shrunk to our leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Jeff Hammond, I believe Casey Kane, either Bobby Hamilton Jr. has throttled back or Casey Kane's that much better.
Well, Larry, it's kind of funny, but both these drivers seem like they're very happy with their race car. Bobby Hamilton talking to crew chief Harold Holley. He said the car is neutral. Harold's telling him just be smooth, hold a pretty wheel, and hit your marks. At the same time, Casey Kane calls in, tells his crew chief, hey, it's pretty sporty. It's pretty sporty. And right now, it's looking pretty sporty, guys.
Yes, it is. And right now, they're about, I'm going to say about 20 to 25 laps from that green flag stops. We definitely know Martin Truex Jr. and David Stremme, they wanted to cycle through those green flag stops without a caution.
Hamilton Jr. up front. Bobby Hamilton Jr. grabs a gear, gets going, and he'll easily clear Robert Presley to get down to the low groove and get away.
I'll say he grabbed the gear. I mean, he ain't Johnny Benson in that one car. But look, I don't think he had his tires cleaned off. A lot of these cars are in trouble. Their tires are not cleaned off.
David Green and Jake Keller are really climbing the hill. They're 3 wide in the middle of the pack. This is a mess.
I think so many of them that did not change tires, and we got a battle for the lead. Robbie Gordon in the 55 car, he's going to take the lead away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. And Kyle Busch in the 5 is coming as well. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still, I don't think he has his tires cleaned off.
Kyle Busch is going to get him. Johnny Benson, Clint Boyer. There is trouble on the 25.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. I believe it's more than tire problems right now. Jeff Hammond, what's going on with him?
Not too sure what's happening to Bobby Hamilton. What could be, Larry, as we were talking earlier about the worms. This is what we're talking about. This all over the tires when they're hot. This is what will gather on them, and when they go back to green, if they're not cleaned off really good, it'll make you think you've got a flat tire, and you've got to be really careful during those restarts to get your tires cleaned off.
Well, he's going to come to pit road, Jeff. He's got more problems. I think he may actually have a flat tire because he was not gaining any ground. He was about to get run over.
Number of possibilities, Larry. He got a huge jump on that restart. Could he have missed a gear? Could he have over-revved the engine?
There's a lot of things that could have happened right here. Looks like he may have had a left side tire problem, Jeff.
That's exactly what they're doing right now, is just changing the left side tires. He's got the 2 left side tires changed, and he's waiting. They're looking real intently right now to see if it was flat. It didn't look to me like he had a flat tire, Larry. It looked like it just had a lot of debris on it.
And he will lose 1 lap, making a pit stop under green.
Hey, this was a big break for Robert Presley in that 47 car. Now he's on the tail end of the lead lap, and he's pulled out to about 20 car lengths in front of our leader right now, Robbie Gordon, at 55. I tell you who's the best car right now, though, is we're looking at David Green and Casey Kane, is that 1 car of Johnny Benson. He's going to drive by Kyle Busch in the 5. This is a battle for 2nd place. 1 car just keeps getting better as this race goes on, Matt Yoakum.
Larry Mack, a slight air pressure adjustment on his last stop has helped fix that tight condition. The guy right behind Johnny B is Kyle Busch. He told his crew chief Lance McGrew under the last caution that he is going to school thanks to Johnny Benson. He said he notices that Benson uses a little bit different brake into the corner. He uses a lot of brake initially because I almost plow into him. I tried doing what he did, and it really helped my entry.
That's a lot of times drivers learn from watching other drivers.
Well, a lot of brake going into the corner. It's going to load that front end. You know, put some more mechanical grip there going into the corner. May help the car turn in.
The biggest thing you got to be careful using too much brake. As we look at this mess, this is Stacy Compton in the 59 in 11th, all the way back to about the 20th place right now. But using too much brake, if you're not careful, you'll build a lot of heat in that right front tire, cause the air pressure to go up, and it'll cause that car to start pushing, not turning.
And will that also overload that left front tire that everybody's worried about running down to the court?
And everybody's been having a lot of trouble, as we've already seen today, as we see Casey Kane, that 38 car, remember, came to pit road, gave up all those positions, and now he just drove by Stacy Compton for the 11th place.
Right behind this group, David Green's got to run. Jason Keller's got to run. Right behind them, it's a big stack going into turn 3. There they are. I mean, Green and Keller got off, and Tony Raines in that second yellow car got off the corner really well, and it almost all log jammed up at the entrance to 3.
And that yellow car behind Stacy Compton, Kenny Wallace in the 23 car, he was one of those 5 or 6 cars that came to pit road as we ride with him here off turn 2 and got those 4 fresh tires. I think it's paying off for him right now.
Kenny Wallace is 13th for the lead. Johnny Benson has caught Robbie Gordon.
Johnny looked like he wanted to tuck underneath Robbie Gordon in the 55 car right there down in 1 and 2, and Robbie Gordon shut the door. But Benson's been so strong off the corner, he'll get side by side and win the drag race getting off into turn 3 here. Now remember this 1 car right here, this is the team that David Stremme drove for last year, had 2 great runs here, two top 10 finishes.
So Benson to the lead. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace coming off turn 4 is under a lot of pressure, and he's going to lose 2, maybe 3 spots. Ashton Lewis, Jason Keller, and then he gets in line just in front of David Green, but Green drops to the bottom, and David Green's going to pass Kenny. This is for 14th. Here comes Tony Raines.
And Tony in the 74, that was another one of the cars that got 4 fresh tires a few laps ago. Tony, of course, in this car for the rest of the year. Damon Lusk running the first 4 or 5 races. Tony got in the car at Bristol, and he will be in it for the rest of the year.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. back on track. Jeff Hammond, what was the problem?
After looking at the left side tires, Mike, they couldn't find any kind of problem with the pressures. Both tires up, a lot of debris on them. Was nothing said for a while. Harold Holly had got back on the radio and said, "You the man. You are the man. Don't worry about it. We can get this back. It happened to us a couple years ago. We'll get it back."
Well, there's no question, as good a car as he has, he can get it back. He's back in 24th position, 1 lap down. He'd like to get up there to where he's the first car lap down to get that free pass.
How about Clint Boyer in the 21? He has certainly made a nice comeback from that crash at Texas to run right up here now in the front 4. And your first 4 cars now are nose to tail.
And that had to be hard for him to handle mentally. Here's a race car that was leading the points with Kevin Harvick. They won Las Vegas. He gets in there and he said, he told me last week, I do not want to be the guy that keeps his team from winning the 2nd Owners Championship in a row. And here he comes back, and look at him. He's ready to go up there and battle for 2nd with these guys as he goes underneath Robbie Gordon in the 55 car for 3rd. He competed in an ARCA race here a year ago, ran very well, and I think that's one of the places that caught Richard Childress's eye about it.
So Boyer moves up to 3rd. Johnny Benson, former series champion and rookie of the year, has assumed the lead here in Nashville. At Nashville, Kyle Busch wants the lead from Johnny Benson and takes it away, heading off into turn 3.
And Clint Boyer says, if you're going to take the lead, I want to take 2nd place from Johnny Benson in that 1 car. Great run for Clint Boyer in this 21 car. You know, I believe our points leader is in trouble. He got up high in 3 and 4 a while ago, and he has slid back to 19th position. Matt Yoakum, I believe we have trouble in the points leader.
Larry Mack, he is falling fast back to 19th. He came on the radio 3 laps ago and said, I feel like I have a slow leak in the left front tire. Earlier, he thought he had a flat left front, and then he cleaned it off, and then he felt like the tire was okay, but now he's radioing back, possibly slow leak in that left front, just trying to hold on till he can hit pit road or they get a caution.
Jeff, do you think that's the problem, or is it just something about the way these tires pick up loose rubber that's causing these drivers' fits?
Mike, I really believe it's a lot to do with the rubber. The guys told me earlier today that when you get up out of the groove, if you miss it by as little as 12 inches, you cover that right side tire with debris and those worms, as they want to call it. The car just goes to pieces. You feel just like you cut a right rear down or a right front. You cannot drive it. You have to chase it up the racetrack. And when you do that, guess what? Then you cover the left side tires, which are about half worn out to begin with. And all of a sudden, you think you've got 4 flat tires. It is a bear to drive that race car when you get out of the groove.
And if indeed that's the case, it can take you 3 or 4 laps to clean it up. There you see it right there. All the rubber coming off these tires up in the upper part of that racetrack. Busch, that 5 car, he's still car's getting pretty good the longer we go into this run right here. Sat on the pole, won the ARCA race here last year. In fact, he led about 88 of the 120 laps of that race, I think, a year ago.
And the car he won with a year ago won here last night in the ARCA series. Mike Bliss, Johnny Sauter, 7th place, and Casey Kane trying to climb back up through. Let's go up to 2nd place, where Johnny Benson has given that up to Clint Boyer, and Boyer now sets his sail on the lead.
Johnny Benson actually just gave 3rd place up to Robbie Gordon in that 55 car as well.
Comers and goers in Nashville.
That's the way we always have it.
Matt?
Robbie Gordon just moved back up to 3rd. He said he feels like that the 5 car of Busch and the 21 are really better than his car is in the corner. That's where he feels like he's losing most of his time. Earlier we told you he was running hot. Both water and oil temperature as the 21 car of Clint Boyer tries to take the lead on young Kyle Busch. The temperature has come down if they pulled that tape off. As he works for that lead again as they come down the front straightaway, Mike.
Yeah, he's taking the lead away from Kyle Busch, and that opened the door for Robbie Gordon in the 55 car to try to get up there as well. But Kyle Busch in the 5 slammed the door, but look how loose he got right there coming off the corner.
And that's allowed Benson to close back in and bring Ron Hornaday with him. We may see a 5-car fight for the lead here in a minute. Things have been busy here in Nashville. Clint Boyer is our leader at 172 laps over Casey Kane and Kyle Busch. While we were away, Casey Kane gets a really good run on Boyer and drops down to take the lead. Now that allowed Jason Keller to get away just a little bit. But then as the leaders caught Keller and Jason tried to give them room, Keller gets a little bit too high up into the marbles, and that gives Boyer an opportunity to retake the lead.
Right here coming off turn 4, there was another lap car there. I think that was Andy Ponstein in the 39 car on the bottom. And there Boyer says, no, you can have the lead for a little bit, but only a couple laps. I want it back.
And look, you see there, well, Keller got up in the stuff and fell off the lead lap. Jeff?
Mike, right now, what's going on with Clint Boyer, more importantly than anything else, we talked about Mike Dillon and how important he may be for this young man getting to victory lane today. Listening and monitoring what's going on between these two guys is just so impressive because of the fact that when he lost the lead, he overdrove turn 3 and the car kind of slid up and he didn't get off turn 4 like he needed to. Casey Kane passed him. Mike Dillon said, look, you've got to slow it down. You've got to ease it in the corner and drive off the corner if you want to get back to the lead. Clint Boyer buckled down, did what he said, took the lead back, And as he cleared him, Dillon said, I want to see the 38 car catch you going into the next corner, and I want to see you drive away from it. And that's exactly what Clint Boyer is doing right now. He's listening to his teacher and hitting his marks.
And Larry, that's a hard thing for a short track driver to do, because there aren't many short tracks in this country where you carry it in easy to the corner and come off hard like they're trying to get him to do here.
No, and even though Clint Boyer in the 21 has done a lot of testing, remember, this is only his second Busch Series start. But I want to go back to Jeff a second. Jeff, more importantly, we have a feeling that Casey Kane in the 38 can make it on fuel. Can that 21 group make it on fuel?
They're feeling pretty confident right now, Larry, that they've got him set on go the remainder of the way. At least according to Ricky Byers, he gave him the thumbs up earlier. Maybe he's playing possum, maybe he's not. Maybe he's just trying to play the waiting game to see how things kind of play out. But they're pretty confident here in the 21 group, as well as the 38. They feel like they've got to measure the 21 car, and they're willing to kind of pace themselves behind this rookie and take advantage of him at the end.
Yeah, because they're one of the few cars on the lead lap that not come to pit road and top off as Casey Kane, Michael Waltrip, and Kyle Busch, some of those other cars have done.
48 laps to go. We'll see if Clint Boyer can hold on and win in only his second start, or whether it'll be Casey Kane, Kyle Busch, Robbie Gordon, Johnny Sauter, or who. Emporia, Kansas driver Clint Boyer, just 24 years old and in only his second Busch Series start. And what a day he is having, but he has a mirror full of Robbie Gordon right now. Going off into turn number 3, Gordon has caught the race leader.
And I think the difference is the fresher tires that Robbie Gordon has on that 55 car versus Clint Boyer. They are about maybe 10 or 15 laps fresher than the 21 car.
Robbie Gordon headhunting and looking low. Now Gordon also drives for Richard Childress, but that's on Sundays. Saturdays, Robbie Gordon drives this Fruit of the Loom 55, which he also owns.
That Richard Childress supplies the engines for as well. And I think we about know when Robbie Gordon in the 55 car pitted that he can make it to the end. The question, can that 21 car go the 81 laps, which would include some cautions? Can he go that far on fuel should this stay green for about the next 40 laps?
How about it, Matt?
Mike, Robbie Gordon, two things he said on the radio. First, he says his car is tight again. The second thing, he said, I did not mean to get into Ron Hornaday at all. You mentioned about that they are corporate teammates at the RCR stable. He says, you guys just do not realize how much trouble I'm probably in when I get back to the big house on Monday. RC and I are probably going to have a meeting. But meanwhile, the 5 of Kurt Busch, he is fading. He said, my car just will not turn when I enter turn 1.
And of course, Matt, what Robbie's talking about is when he got in the back of Ron Hornaday a while ago, both of them trying to get back on the lead lap. Ron Hornaday, the 2 car, is a Richard Childress car.
Still hot for the lead. Robbie Gordon on the tail of Clint Boyer. So these are not teammates in the true sense of the world, but there is a lot of go-between between Robbie Gordon's Busch team and the Richard Childress team.
And of course, if his car is tight, I think the reason he did just drive by the 21 car Clint Boyer is when you get behind the car, you lose all the front downforce, just makes the car push worse on the turn.
We'll keep an eye on this, but fuel mileage may well be the determinant.
Well, I'm getting a message right now that NASCAR is finally saying the 39 car Andy Ponstein is too slow to take him off the racetrack. And you know, I know these guys are trying to make a living, but for Pete's sake, you're 40 laps down and you're racing the guy that's in second place. That's ridiculous.
Was he racing him or trying to find a place
just trying to get out of the way?
Right. Clint Boyer and Robbie Gordon driving around like they're welded together with a tow bar here at Nashville. Laps to go at Nashville Superspeedway. Clint Boyer would not be the first driver to win in his first or second start. 4 drivers won their first start in the series, but they were all accomplished Cup drivers at the time. Joe Ruttman, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt in their first race in what is now called the Busch Series. However, the least number of starts before scoring a victory as a rookie, that record is held by Johnny Rumley and Scott Riggs. Rumley won Hickory in 1993. Riggs won here in Nashville in 2002, and in each case it was their 7th start of their Busch Series career as rookie drivers. Clint Boyer is trying to win this in only his 2nd start. But Larry, the question is, could Robbie Gordon have passed him? And if so, why not?
Yeah, I don't know, because he's actually, Mike, starting to fade just a little bit as Clint Boyer, our leader in the 21's, back in traffic. And these guys have almost a 6-second lead on 3rd place Kyle Busch. So should we stay green? I think the question is, can Clint Boyer in the 21 make it those final 81 laps on fuel or not?
And does Robbie Gordon know that's the question? And is he just saving his stuff until he needs it?
I would be willing to say Robbie Gordon's crew has been telling him that possibly the 21 will not make it. But you talk about starts, Mike. We're talking about Clint Boyer in the 21 being in a position to win in only a 2nd Busch Series start. Robbie Gordon, you talk about experience behind him. Busch Series starts and Cup Series starts combined, there's 149. That's quite a bit of experience behind him.
Yes, it is. Veteran Robbie Gordon, can he take the lead from rookie Clint Boyer, or will another rookie, Kyle Busch, work his way to the front? This morning we wondered, with the weather, would we ever race at all today here in Nashville? And now we're just 21 laps from the checkered flag. Clint Boyer trying to be the Busch Series driver who, since this series started in 1982, won in the fewest career starts as a rookie.
In about the last 5 or 6 laps, Mike, he has pulled away from Robbie Gordon at 55 by almost a 1.5 seconds. It's almost like either Robbie Gordon's car's going away, or he just is confident that 21 car will not make it. How about it, Jeff Hammond?
Well, Larry, it's very interesting the way you put that right now. He is driving away from the 55 car, Robbie Gordon, because of the fact that he's hitting his marks by the instruction of Matt Dillon, the spotter. Once again, he is doing a masterful job of telling Clint, as you see the lap cars, my friend, either follow him through the corner, but do not, I repeat, do not get high trying to pass on the outside. The last time you just about got up in the stuff, and you know what's going to happen if you get that long in your tires. As he goes through the corner right now, you watch him follow the lap down cars through that corner. Now he's clearing them up off the corner, coming down the front straightaway here. They are doing a great job of pacing this young man, trying to get him to victory lane here today.
Kenny Wallace was just in for a pit stop. He had pitted at lap 136, and there were 2 caution flags in between, so this was not a case of being low on fuel. Now, on the other leader, Robbie Gordon, here's Matt.
Robbie was asking his team for lap times, a comparison between the 21 car and his 55, but he is slowly fading. He says, I believe I have worn my right front completely out, as he tries to reel in that leader. Meanwhile, David Stremme told me this weekend that he had a long talk with Clint Boyer. He said, you're splitting the schedule with Harvick. I did that last year. I can tell you how difficult it will be, especially when you run well. It will be very frustrating to have to get out of that race car for a few races, but you just have to hunker down and be patient.
Well, it was frustrating for him last week too, Matt. First time in that car and crashing at Texas. He's rebounded to lead and do a great job here. The other driver who, as a rookie, crashed last week in Texas in a good car was J.J. Yaley, who drives for Joe Gibbs in the number 18. And Yaley has rebounded well in this Figaro Home Depot car. He got lapped early in the race, but Larry, he's fought his way back up into the top 10.
Yeah, he was one of those cars like Clint Boyer and Michael Waltrip, Casey Kane, that had not made that green flag stop. Even though he went lap down very early in the race, he benefited from that caution coming out by not making that green flag stop.
Yaley, a second-generation sprint car star for Phoenix. His dad, Cactus Jack Yaley, a star of the Western Sprint Car Circuit, and runs some World of Outlaw races. We saw both of them a lot in winter heat in open wheel action 10 or so years ago. Doesn't seem like that long, but He's had a great career and a great rise, like many open wheelers to stardom. And Robbie Gordon, let's not forget what a great road racer Robbie Gordon was, and open wheeler, including IndyCar driver, before he came over to NASCAR.
And let's talk about his agenda right here with Mike as we have 15 laps to go. He comes in here 5th in the points. He don't like what he feels with that right front tire, but he has an 8-second lead on the 3rd place Kyle Busch, thinking that possibly the leader of the race right now, Clint Boyer, may run out of fuel. He just needs to baby this thing, and his crew chief, Bob Temple, just needs to keep him posted where Kyle Busch is. Don't worry about the 21 car right now.
Yeah, you can't beat him. Control what you can control, which is your own destiny.
Now there you see Casey Atwood in the 14 just driving by Robbie Gordon. Casey Atwood was one of the cars, a lot like Kenny Wallace, that just came to pit road and got 4 fresh tires.
Seeing several pit stops. David Stremme has made a couple, and now he comes back onto pit road. Once again, it's been a tough day for Stremme. He is now 12 laps down as Clint Boyer goes past the 18 of J.J. Yaley. Now, Robbie Gordon, I guess the other question is, as he keeps wondering and worrying about that tire, will he pit?
I believe he is. I believe he's coming to pit road right now, or he's either slowing down a bunch right now. Yeah, he's in trouble. Look at him weaving back and forth. He's got a problem.
And he decided not to come in, and that may cost him. There goes the right rear. It's gone. It took some of the fender with it.
And there's the caution. There's the caution that Clint Boyer in the 21 probably did not want to see.
Robbie Gordon needed a caution. He just didn't need it for it to be him. Now with the inner liner, that car will still go around the racetrack, but he tore up a right rear.
Now I think, and again, it's hard to keep up with, so bear with me here. I don't think Robbie Gordon has any sets of tires left under caution. The only one he'll be able to change is that one tire that's in trouble. Now we're pretty sure that Clint Boyer has a set of tires left. Kyle Busch and Casey Kane, we know, does not have a set of tires left. And right now we're showing 7 cars on the lead lap. Mike Bliss in the 20 should get the free pass.
So Robbie Gordon will roll around on the skins. He thought he had a tire problem. There you see the chunking at the start-finish line, and that carcass come off. He was down low on the racetrack, Larry, and I thought he was going to bring it to pit road. If he is point racing, that would be big picture racing. And maybe the tire was down so low he couldn't make the turn onto pit road.
But what a break, Mike, because there's only 8 cars on the lead lap, and he's still going to be on the lead lap, so this will be a break for him.
We're going to go for a ride for 5 laps here at Nashville Superspeedway, and most of these fans are still here because they sense a shootout. Michael Waltrip did make his pit stop under the next lap of caution. He is one of those lead lap cars. There are 8 of them, including the free pass car, which is the number 20 of Mike Bliss. So Casey Kane on worn tires will be the leader. Right behind him, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Robbie Gordon, who got to change the tire that was down that brought out the caution, along with Johnny Benson, Johnny Sauter, and Michael Waltrip. Here we go. It's going to be a 5-lap single file shootout.
Yeah, Casey Kane in the 38, I mean, with 5 laps to go, I think he's a sitting duck, Mike, because he has 75 laps on those tires, and everybody behind him, there you see, Kyle Busch can get a very good restart in the 5 car, but now we're hearing that the 55, Robbie Gordon, did have a set of tires left, so everybody on the lead lap, with the exception of Casey Kane, was able to change 4 tires as Clint Boyer is coming to the line with 4 to go as the lead.
Tell you who else is lit up is Michael Waltrip. He's right on the tail end of this pack of lead lap cars, 7 of them, as they hunt down Kyle Busch for 2nd place, and they're using up all the racetrack. And Clint Boyer, the rookie, after Texas, he's going from 0 to hero if he can hang on and win this.
Yeah, now Casey Kane in the 38 car, he has fell behind everyone that has 4 tires. But boy, we're going to have us a battle here with 3 laps to go. We got the top 6 cars right there together in a line.
And Kyle Busch is coming. He is closing it right back up on Clint Boyer. 1 car up and slams the wall. Drifts down in front of traffic, but he's going to be able to keep going. Is that Yaley?
J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. We have no caution, though, and NASCAR's trying to get him to get down and get off the racetrack. We got a battle for the lead down the backstretch, though.
Here
Kyle
comes
Busch
Kyle
in the 5, side by side with Clint Boyer in the 21.
Watching him, watching the flag man. No sign of yellow. Busch has the lead. Boyer wants it. Here comes Benson. They are almost 3 wide as they come off the corner. No caution. Here come the leaders. Boyer holds it. Busch is right with them. 4 cars under a blanket.
2 by by 2 with 2 to go.
And Yaley is off the racetrack. He's out of harm's way. Here they come, and Kyle Busch is going to try to hold him off. Boyer tapped.
Oh, they're sideways. Look at Robbie Gordon on the high side. He gets all 4 cars, all the leaders.
Caution comes out as Michael Waltrip makes the pass.
Now remember, the field was frozen when the caution came out, but the cars that caused the caution, they are not able to stay on the lead lap or get the free pass.
Larry, as I saw it looking across the track, at the moment the starter lifted the caution flag, Michael Waltrip had passed those cars to take the lead. And a fellow who was down in the mouth all weekend about his Busch program just not coming together is probably going to go to victory lane. They are still crashing down the front straightaway as they come to the line.
Yeah, Michael started back in 22nd position. We did get the white flag.
I've seen a lot of wild finishes and not too many to match up to this one.
And you know, there was a point this race did not have that look about it about halfway through, but who would have ever thought we'd have 4 cars going for the lead with a lap and a half to go on the backstretch.
And when Kyle Busch got sideways, they all wadded up, and Michael Waltrip was just far enough behind them to be able to clear them on the outside.
And I think the other car that got by was Johnny Sauter in the 27 right now. Again, scoring. We'll have to check scoring, but he's showing in 2nd place right now.
You know, Larry, I think everybody that was involved in the backstretch got away and came on around.
Yeah, everyone is going. It's like they were just locked up back there.
Oh.
And the checkered flag is out.
And it's going to wave over Michael Waltrip, who unofficially is our winner. We will have to await a review from NASCAR of the scoring at the time the field was frozen under caution. But it's our belief that Michael Waltrip had cleared those cars and will go to victory lane. Oh, let's sort this one out.
They're coming off turn 2. This was with about a lap and a half to go. You saw the 21 just barely got in the back of the 5. And then it looked like Johnny Benson got in the back of the 21 and just kind of sucked in Robbie Gordon in the 55 car. Chain reaction.
There's the first contact. Boyer into Busch. Benson and Gordon into Boyer, and the caution comes out right about there as Michael Waltrip had made the pass, and we believe Johnny Sauter had gone to 2nd. Larry, it's 4 guys trying to win it.
Yeah, I mean, this was with a lap and a half to go, and there's guys trying to win their first Busch Series race right there. Robbie Gordon and Clint Boyer in the 21, and Johnny Benson, who has not been to victory lane in a long time in the Busch Series.
Let's ride with Michael Waltrip. Right now, he's 5th.
He knew something was happening. You could hear him get out of the throttle even before anyone touched anyone. He knew it was fixing to break loose.
And you saw the caution light, and when it came on, Michael had cleared those cars. Now, even so, Larry, as you pointed out, to be able to retain your position under caution, even though the field is frozen, you must be able to maintain pace car speed, and those cars spinning through the grass weren't doing that.
And I think that's going to be the key with Michael being the winner and Johnny Sauter in 2nd, is Robbie Gordon, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, and Johnny Benson. They're the ones that brought the caution out. I think that's going to be the key.
And Michael Waltrip, his first start here at the Nashville Super Speedway, and he gets the big-time trophy, Gibson guitar. Where do we even begin, Michael?
Let's go back to just Kansas City last fall when we had that race wired, and had it get away from us, you know, with just a few laps to go. I've lost a lot of Busch races that I thought I should have won or could have won, maybe would have won, but today we just were lucky for sure. I knew the only chance I had was to try to go down the wall and hope they all got in the wreck, and when I came out the other end and didn't see anybody in front of me, I said, well, that worked out like it was supposed to. I want to thank Aaron's, where we're leasing quality furnitures and appliances for less. That's important for me to say. They're my sponsor. And also thank my wife for letting me come here on Easter weekend and race. I love you, Buff. Hi, Mace. Hi, girls. Kate. I hope everybody's doing well. In the Bahamas, that's where they're at. I know they're doing well. Old Mike's stuck here in Nashville, but
Playing a guitar.
my pal Jerry Baxter,
His first win together with you.
it is his first win, and he deserves Another, you know, he deserves lots of wins. He's done a great job being my crew chief. I'm real proud of him. Also want to thank Bobby Kennedy. He isn't with us anymore. He went to work for my brother, but Bobby really has helped the transition with me and Jerry and this team. So Chevrolet, they've been a great friend of mine over the last 4 or 5 years, and we've gotten them a few wins. I want to thank them as well.